All right, in the last video, we went ahead and we added the clients component. Now what I want to do is I want to create a form to add a new client, and then we need to create a service function to actually interact with Firebase and add a new client on that side. So first thing we're going to work on is the sidebar component. Remember, we created a sidebar component, and I just want to put that over here with just a button to link to the add client component or the add client page. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go to our Visual Studio Code, and let's go into, let's see, sidebar. We're going to go into components and then sidebar HTML, and we're going to put an A tag here, and let's see, we're going to have a router link. So router link, and that's going to go to /add client, which we haven't created yet, but we will. I'm just going to put a just put a number sign in there, and then let's give this a class of btn client, btn success, because I want it to be green, and let's also give it btn block to make it a block level element. Okay, and then in here I'm going to put an icon, so let's put an I tag with the class of fa and also the class of fa-plus, like that. And then we'll just say add new client. All right, and that's all we need for this sidebar. So let's close that up. Now the sidebar isn't displaying yet. Where I want it to display is in the dashboard component. So let's go there, because right now we're just displaying the clients component. But what I'm going to do here is put a div with the class of row, and then let's do a class of call MD10, and then below that we're going to do a class of call MD2, which is the sidebar. So the app clients I'm going to bring into the 10 column div, and then the sidebar is going to go here, so it's going to be apps-sidebar. Alright, and now if we look at that, now we have our little button over here. So we need to add our route, because right now if we click that, nothing's happening. So let's go to our app.module file. We can close this up. So app.module, and let's go to our app routes right here, and we're going to say path. So for the path, that's going to be add-client, and then for the component, that's going to be the add client component. Alright, so let's save that and see if that works. There we go. Add client works. Now we need to bring in, or we need to create our form. So let's close that up and go to our add client component HTML file. And we're going to have a grid up at the top here. So let's do call MD6. I'm going to have two of these. Okay, so this one here is going to actually be a back button. So it's going to go back to the dashboard. So let's do, we'll say I'm going to give this a class of btn and btn-link. And let's give this a router link. Okay, so router link is going to go to /. And then let's put an icon in here. This is going to be circle left. So this is it's going to be fa-arrow dash, what is it? fa-arrow circle dash o dash left. Geez, that's a long class name. And then we're just going to say back to dashboard. All right, and then on this side, we're actually not going to have anything on this side, but you can just keep it here for, you know, if you want to add something later on. But let's just check that out. All right, so that's what it looks like. We're back to dashboard. Good. So under that, we're going to have our form, but I want to put the form inside of a card, a Bootstrap 4 card. All right, so let's say class card, and then we'll have a card header. And let's see, this will just say add client. Alright, and then we need a card block. Okay, let's put our form. Let's It's actually not going to have an action. And let's give this, we're going to say number sign F and set this to ng form. We want to use that. ng form, and then let's put a ng submit event. So ng submit, and that's going to equal a function called on submit, and then we just want to pass in F. All right, and then we're going to put a form group. Okay, so let's put label. So let's see, I'm not going to use a for attribute here. Actually, yeah, I will. So this will be for first name. And then we're going to have an input, and this is going to have a bunch of attributes. So I'm going to put them on their own lines. So type text. Let's give it a class of form control. Okay, we're gonna do. Let's see. We're gonna be binding these fields to properties. And actually, you know what? I want to put the no validate attribute up here as well. But for this, let's put an ng model. Okay, so ng model, and we're going to set this to client dot first name. All right, and then we also want to put a name equal to first name, and then we want to put an ID here. I'm going to say client first name, and we want to set that to ng model. Okay, then we want our validation. So let's say min length. Min length I'm going to set to 2, and then let's also make this required. Alright, so there's our validation. Now we need our error output, so let's go under the input, and let's put a div, and this is going to have an ng if. Alright, we want to test for client first name dot errors. We've already done this in a past section. So errors, and we want to check for the required. Okay, we also want to check to see if it's been touched. So we want to do double ampersand client first name dot touched. Okay, and if that's true, we also want this to have a class because we want it to be an alert. So we're going to give it a class of alert and alert danger. Let me just wrap this. Okay, and then in here we're just going to have the message, which will be first name is required. Okay, then we want the one for the min length, so let's paste that in, and we're just going to change this to min length. And let's change the message. We'll say must be at least 2 characters, and that field should be all set. Alright, so let's save that. Now it's probably not going to show up because we have a couple things wrong. One, we need to bring in the forms module into our app.module file. So let's go over there, and we're going to go up to the top here and import forms module from Angular/forms, and then we need to add it to our imports. Okay, save that. Okay, so now it's showing our form. Now we don't have the property. We tried to bind the first name to the first name property of the component. We haven't created that yet. That's why it's giving us this error. But I just want to finish the form first. So let's go back to our HTML file, and I'm going to copy everything inside of this form group. Okay, because we have a couple other fields we need. So let's paste that in, and this one is going to be for the last name. So we just want to change all first to last. Okay, including down here. Let's see, ng if client last name. So that should be good, right? Last name, good. Let's see, the next thing we're going to need is the email. So let's go ahead and paste in form group again, and we're just going to change everything to email. Let's change the type to email as well. So this will be client.email, client email. We're going to have email as required. I'm not going to do the min length though. Alright, so that looks good. Now we're going to do the phone. Again, paste it in. Oh, you know what? I don't think I changed the 4 attributes up here. Yeah, right here. Alright, I did that one. Alright, so let's see. Label for phone. And you guys should have all of the code from every single section in this course. So if you don't want to type this stuff out, you should be able to just go and copy it. Actually, I don't want phone to be required, so we'll get rid of that. And let's see, this is going to be client phone.errors min length. Okay, and then actually I want the min length for the phone to be 10. And then for the message, let's say add a valid phone number. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to want is the balance. So let's see, we're going to go right here and paste that in. Okay, this will be balance. Balance. Alright, and then let's see, I'm not going to have this required. I am actually going to have a setting to disable the ability to add a balance when you add a client, as well as to be able to disable it when you have the edit form to edit a client, because we're going to have an option to edit the balance from the details page. Alright, so let's see. Name should actually be lowercase b, and then client balance. We're going to get rid of these two, and we're going to set this to, we're going to add a bind a property to disabled, and that's going to be a property called disable balance on add. Okay, that's going to be a property in our component, and then we can get rid of these two divs here. Alright, and this is actually going to be a number, not text. Okay, so hopefully I didn't miss anything as far as, you know, field names and stuff. I'm sure if I did, you guys caught it. Alright, now we just need a submit button, so we're going to go right here. Say btn, btn primary, and let's also do btn block. Okay, and it's going to be a type of submit, and then we just need a value, which will be submit. Alright, so let's take a look at the form. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I like how the Bootstrap 4 forms look more than the version 3. So now we're going to work on the TS file and the component file. Alright, so wow, this section is taking a while. So let's go to add component, add client dot component dot ts, and let's first import our client interface or our client model. Okay, and then let's see, we're going to add some properties. So let's add client, set that to the type of client that we just brought in, and then we're going to set that to an object with just the field name. So first name, just set it to nothing. Last name, all right. Whoops, what did I do? Not assignable to type client. Why not? Should be. Oh, balance is a number. So what we'll do is we'll set that to 0 by default. All right, and then we're also going to have the property disable balance on add. Okay, and that's going to be a Boolean. And that's going to be initially set to true. I want it disabled by default for now. All right, let's see. Let's save that. Okay, and let's just say cannot read property errors of undefined. How's this error checking working? Doesn't. All right, so it looks like I think we have some class names messed up. Let's check that. So let's look at the HTML file and let's see. Alright, so client right here, last name, this should be last. I left that as first. Let's see, is that anywhere else? Alright, let's try that. Okay, so there's no errors down there. Now if I click out, good. Okay, if I put add valid phone number. Alright, so the error checking seems to be working good. So let's see. Let's go back to our component TS file. So now that we created the form, I think in the next video we'll go ahead and we'll handle the submit, because this one's getting kind of long. So we'll handle the submit, and then we'll work with the service, the Firebase service, so that we can actually add a client to our database.